Assalamu alaikum and good morning with the topic of analysis of John F. Kennedy's inaugural address from Unit 5 in your adopted reader. John Fitzgerald Kennedy was the 35th President of the United States of America, serving from 1961 until he was assassinated in 1963. Assassinated means to kill, that he was killed. He was the only president to have won a Pulitzer Prize. So that is a literary prize in which it is given that someone who is expert or on the recognition of his literary work. So he was a highly learned man, and he was expert in speech, and he was an excellent orator. His death was one of the most shocking events in American history, as he was assassinated. One thing I noticed about Kennedy's inaugural address would be that he divided it into 4 parts. So how many parts? 4 parts. If we divide his address into 4 parts, the introduction of his speech has to deal with how his fellow Americans will remember the founding fathers in all the effort they put forth into building America. So all the effort they put forth means that they struggle to unite American nation. The second part of his speech consists of many different pledges. Pledges means like swans, like oaths, in which he promises with the name of God. So that's called promises, pledges, oaths, swans. Leading into the third section, where he mentioned 2 sides of the world, he talks about how the United States must explore each side of the issue while also carefully considering all options. And lastly, Kennedy expresses his trust that his fellow citizens can help rebuild peace across the world. So that was his fourth section, a portion. Throughout Kennedy's speech, he uses various stylistic devices which helps aid strength and character to his speech. So he used stylistic devices, the device which gives more ornamentation and give ornaments to the words and expression that one uses in his language. The 2 most recurring devices in his speech would be parallelism. It means like similarity, the ideas or the expression that use add similarly. And the other is antithesis, is opposite one. So similar ideas and the opposite he used simultaneously to attract his audience. During his introduction, he combines parallelism and antithesis in the statement, like an end as well as a beginning. So end and beginning are, you see, these are the opposite. Renewal as well as change. So renewal and change meaning are the same. That's called parallelism, similar. We want renewal, we want change. This statement introduces the theme of progression, which is used all throughout Kennedy's speech. During the 3rd and 4th paragraphs, Kennedy once again uses the theme of progression, which also leads to the new generation of Americans. He combined antithesis and alliteration in his statement. So like the same idea, like in a poetic way, that these are the literary terms that used in literature, And support any friend, oppose any foe. So you see the ideas that repeating time and again. Support any friend, to help any friend, oppose any foe. Foe means enemy. So, and a metaphor in the torch has been passed. So he also used metaphor. It means the glory, the glorified period has been passed, because it was a trial and tribulation, and he was referring to that. That's why he was using metaphor. So metaphor is a literary device in which you compare two things. One is simile. Simile, he is as red as a rose, and one is metaphor, that he is rose. So the metaphor is indirect comparison between two things. Each of these stylistic devices used in Kennedy's speech stressed the contrast between good and bad. So contrast good and bad. As we go into the second part of the speech, you can notice that antithesis, will or ill. So you see the opposite idea. Will means good and ill means bad. So will or ill, support any friend, oppose any foe. So these are also antithesis. Support any friend, oppose any foe. And parallelism, united there is little we can do, divided there is little we can do. Again, united there is little we cannot do. We can't do, we cannot do. And divided there is little we can do. It means that when we are united, we cannot do much more, because we need unity. But if we are divided, we can do. So there is little we can do. It means that we want to do more to unite ourselves once again. We shall not always expect to find them supporting our view, but we shall always hope to find them supporting their own freedom. Again, he using the same method, are both used in this section. Kennedy uses a strong metaphor to address the new states, those who foolishly sought power by riding the back of the tiger ended up inside. So here he used the metaphor that those who want power, who are keen to get power, it's just like a tiger. And when you sit on the back of the tiger, it means that getting power is not easy to handle it. Just like you cannot control a tiger. It's a metaphor, because power has a huge responsibility. At the end of the next paragraph, he uses another impressive example of parallelism. Impressive is means beautiful, worthy of attention, which also include antithesis. If a free society cannot help the many who are poor, it cannot save the few who are rich. So it means if the society doesn't help the poor people, so it means the few rich people, they cannot save themselves either. Kennedy uses figurative language in the paragraph in which he expresses his pledge to the South American state. Pledge means oath or sworn. Casting off the chains of poverty. Casting off the chains of poverty means that we want to get rid you of the poor condition. It means to alleviate the poverty and to bring prosperity, and to strengthen its shield of the new and the weak, and to enlarge the area in which its writ may run. It means that the power of the government should go smoothly, the authority of the country. During the paragraph that follows, Kennedy uses yet another strong metaphor. It means comparing two things indirectly. Directly. The dark power of destruction unleashed by science engulfs all humanity in self-destruction, to introduce the theme of the two opposing powers. It means that science brought power and might and freedom, but it also brought, destruction in the form of these mass weapon destruction, like atomic bomb, like all these weapons. So he was referring to that aspect of science, technology. The very last sentence of the second section includes parallelism and repetition. When our arms are sufficient beyond doubt, can we be certain beyond doubt? So this is repetition. That if our arms are sufficient, it means that if we get a lot of arms like weapon, so will it be guaranteed for our certainty? Kennedy mentioned his plans for the two opposing forces in the third part of the speech while using the device chiasm. So it means repeating reverse order. So let us never negotiate out of fear, but let us never fear to negotiate. So it was like a, inversion. Let us never negotiate. It means that we shouldn't fear to negotiate and talk with other people who have some reservation and problems. But let us never fear to negotiate. So it's just repeating the other way around. Moving into the fourth section of the speech, the theme of progression is used once again. Each generation of American has been summoned. It means he called all nations of America to work together. He starts the next paragraph with an expression which uses biblical origin from the book of the religion, Christianity. The trumpet summons us. That is from biblical allusion, that the trumpet summons us. It means that it's the right time to come up. And also uses in alliteration fused with a metaphor, but a call to bear the burden of a long twilight struggle. Again, is a metaphor that he said is the time that is a struggle. There is a hope, but there is a burden that we need to work together. So he was referring to those tribulation and hard times. In the very last part of Kennedy's speech, he refers to God one more time, just like he did at the very beginning of his speech. I have sworn before God. God's work must truly be our own. Homework. Dear student, read the text of the President John F. Kennedy's address, pages 259 and 260 and 261. Thank you very much and have a nice day.